What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Rimuru-sama wouldn't place us in a situation where we'd perish needlessly. This moment must hold significance, so until new instructions come, I will give it my all.
Someone who acts without hesitation wields true strength. Shion didn't fear death, instead, she stood resolute, holding the front line with unyielding resolve. It was this fearlessness that touched Rumina's deeply. The noble blood-sucking princess despised anything that tarnished her dignity. She had carefully orchestrated everything, laying a trap with an impeccable lineup. Now that the trap had been dismantled, victory was no longer an option. Shion understood this truth, so how could the astute Ruminas not grasp it as well? The most prudent course of action was to regroup with Rimuru's forces stationed in Ramirez's labyrinth while conserving as much strength as possible. Shion, who had pondered this at length, harbored no bitterness toward Rumina's decision. On the contrary, she thought,
A wise Ruminas would recognize the need to leave this battlefield. At the very least, I must ensure she does not abandon this fight prematurely. Ruminas-sama's assistance was a surprise. If I had been alone, I would have fallen long ago. But her choice was amusing, if I may put it that way.
Demon Lord Ruminas was not the figure Shion had envisioned. Shion found joy in the situation. Knowing she had comrades she could rely on was a source of comfort. The thought that she had managed to reach Ruminas on some level made her happy, even if it meant her end was near. De Gruel was a formidable opponent. Shion realized this clearly as their blades clashed. She could sense that he was holding back a significant portion of his strength. If he unleashed his full power, she would be easily overwhelmed. Defeat was inevitable. Yet, if this was part of Rimuru's grand plan, Shion's purpose became clear. She needed to uncover the depths of De Gruel's abilities and pave the way for the next move. With this resolve, Shion's relentless and daring attempts continued. She wielded her sword with purpose, embodying the ideals she believed De Gruel should strive for. Her every strike seemed to demonstrate the path he ought to follow. Through repeated cycles of death and rebirth, sustained by Rumina's power, time seemed to halt. At the edge of Shion's awareness, the world lost its vibrancy. Not yet. This isn't over. Shion's spirit roared, but her body refused to respond. She lay motionless, unable to rise or even open her mouth. Her consciousness wrestled with confusion as her physical form remained inert. But Shion refused to surrender. The fading colors of the world burned into her memory, and she identified this as the source of the strange phenomenon.
If that's the cause, then all I need to do is recreate it.
The idea was ludicrous. Controlling time at her level of power should have been impossible without the intervention of a great destiny, like that of a hero. But Shion neither knew nor cared about such limitations. If there was even a sliver of a chance, she would seize it. Activating her unique skill, Cook, Shion reconstructed her body. After countless iterations of optimization, her form finally aligned with her will. The result was undeniable. Shion transcended conventional logic and claimed control over the suspended world. Yet, this was merely a step in the journey. The ultimate destination lay far beyond reach, and Shion remained a contender striving toward it. A sword swept through the void. Though metaphorical, as no light existed in this realm to illuminate such a blade, the sharpness of Shion's strike was unmistakable. In the suspended world, where all forces binding the physical had been nullified, De Gruel controlled his form solely through sheer willpower. He fortified his body to surpass the toughness of Vajra stone, using both arms to block Shion's attack. Even so, De Gruel was forced to his knees. The sheer power behind Shion's descending strike overwhelmed him, driving him into the ground. His eyes widened in disbelief. In this dimension, the air carries no vibrations. Every connection is severed, halting the flow of energy and obstructing any expression of will. Here, the body moves as though wading through an oppressive, dense medium, making it futile to gain momentum by pushing off the ground. Such an attempt would merely gouge the surface, leaving the foot to slip, much like De Gruel's earlier attempt. The typical rules of physics do not govern this world, and magical principles hold little sway. Combat within these constraints defies convention. De Gruel, channeling a burst of strength, managed to deflect Shion's sword. This time, Shion stood his ground, firmly rooted with both feet. After trading numerous strikes of sword and fist, both fighters began adjusting to their unusual battlefield. De Gruel leaned on his primal instincts, while Shion adapted through the flow of their relentless clash. The fight escalated, not just in intensity but also in the intricate interplay of authority and control. Though De Gruel was a supreme being nearing the power of a true dragon, he lacked an ultimate skill. The raw force of his punches alone could unleash devastation beyond the limits of physical laws, obliterating his surroundings with each release. However, within the confines of the suspended world, such overwhelming strength was rendered ineffective, drastically restricting his potential. In these moments, fortune began to tilt in Shion's favor. Shion's sword cut through the air with precision and speed, yet none of her strikes could connect with DeGruel, who effortlessly parried them all with his bare hands.
Impressive, so many attacks and not a single scratch.
DeGruel remarked with genuine admiration. His body, fortified by the ability to destroy all things, lent authenticity to his words.
Of course. This sword is a gift from Rimuru-sama, and I cherish it so deeply that it's like an extension of myself now.
Shion responded confidently. She meticulously maintained the blade, charging it daily with her demonic energy. Over time, it had evolved into the mythical grade weapon, Hercules Deluxe, enabling it to withstand the brutal environment of the suspended world and endure DeGruel's immense destructive power. DeGruel was a force of nature, wielding abilities comparable to ultimate skills, including hardening transformation, destruction of all things, magic nullification, attribute neutralization, and quake wave. His title, Continent's Wrath, was well earned. Under normal circumstances, Shion would stand no chance against such an opponent. DeGruel defied both natural laws and magical principles, rendering close-quarters combat virtually suicidal. Yet Shion adapted, using her unique skill, Cook, to mold the outcome to her will, fine-tuning her approach with each clash. Shion observed DeGruel carefully, attempting to mimic his powers.
You've got to be kidding me. Do you really think you can match me with that kind of ability?
DeGruel exclaimed in disbelief. Despite the vast energy difference, Shion's unique skill, Cook, allowed her to hold her ground. Though their battle raged on, Shion's attempts to replicate DeGruel's abilities fell short of the original. Still, fortune had not abandoned her. Veldora stood nearby, poised to act.
It seems like it's finally my turn to.
Veldora began, but a sudden touch on his shoulder drained his strength abruptly. Veldora's frantic eyes darted toward Rumina's, who was in the midst of recovering from her injuries. Drawing strength from Veldora's vitality, Rumina's scoffed.
I'll probably get punished for being late.
Her complexion brightened as her energy returned, and even her tattered clothes restored themselves.
Just stay out of the way and watch.
With Veldora momentarily sidelined, Rumina's stepped in to aid Shion in the battle against DeGruel. Ultima, ever eager, was prepared as well.
I'm not about to let Shion-san outshine me. Don't you dare forget I'm here.
Renowned for her rapid advancement, Ultima had fully grasped the intricacies of the information particle, allowing her to fight with even greater fluidity than in the real world. Observing the reinforcements, DeGruel sighed in resignation.
Well, this is a problem. We've lost our edge.
Realizing that the suspended world was now more of a liability than an advantage against Shion and her allies, DeGruel dispelled it. As time resumed its flow, the noise of the battlefield roared back into their senses. Ultima, prepared to face DeGruel, redirected her attention to her original opponent, Fen. Meanwhile, Veldora placed a reassuring hand on Shion's shoulder.
Shion, you've done well. But you need to understand, your ability to fight DeGruel was only possible within the suspended world. Now that time is moving again. The world operates under the laws of physics. DeGruel's restrictions are gone, and his full supernatural strength has returned.
Shion acknowledged Veldora's words with gratitude but didn't completely comprehend their gravity. Still, her instincts screamed danger. Acting on impulse, she pushed off the ground with explosive force, rocketing toward DeGruel like a projectile, her weapon, Hercules Deluxe, swinging with lethal intent. DeGruel met her attack, catching the blade barehanded as their powers clashed with explosive intensity. Rumina's and Veldora observed the fierce duel. Rumina's frowned and demanded,
What exactly are you doing?
Veldora didn't respond, his dismay evident as Shion ignored his caution. He chose to remain silent, feeling he had lost the opportunity to intervene effectively. Despite her incredible regenerative abilities and Rumina's healing magic, Shion was struggling under the sheer weight of the battle. DeGruel's overwhelming destructive force couldn't land a decisive blow, leaving the fight to drag on endlessly. With a mix of frustration and admiration, DeGruel finally spoke.
I must admit, Shion, you've really pushed me to my limits.
Summoning an enormous surge of power, DeGruel unleashed a devastating wave of destruction. The ground quaked violently as molecular bonds disintegrated, leaving complete devastation in his wake. Amid the chaos, Shion's body was hurled around, unable to stand against the unrelenting force. Rumina's had no chance to intervene, and Veldora, staying true to his nature, remained motionless, waiting for Shion to call on him. Shion's physical endurance and mental fortitude were at their breaking point when something within her finally shattered.
Rimuru-sama?
She murmured in disbelief. Overwhelmed by pain, a sudden void enveloped her. Rimuru was no longer in this world. A wave of profound despair consumed her, leaving her mind hollow and drowning in emptiness. For Shion, Rimuru was her entire world. Without him, everything lost its purpose. Shion roared, her anguish swallowed by a surge of fury that ignited her survival instincts. Amid her rage, she felt something stir deep within, almost as if a voice was answering her call.
Affirmation. Individual. Shion seal has been released. Restricted skill evolution initiated. Evolution successful. Unique skill, Cook, has now advanced to ultimate skill, Susanoo.
In this instant, Shion awakened to a power beyond anything she had known. If Rimuru were still alive and well, this transformation might never have come to pass. Engaged in her relentless battle with DISCLAIMER, Shion's very essence began to shift at an extraordinary rate. She embraced the truth of her circumstances with clarity and honesty, unshackled by conventional thought, and claimed her new strength. Her evolution was not limited to her physical being, her spirit was also ascending to greater heights. And now, with Rimuru gone, this was the turning point. Shion possessed the potential to destroy Rimuru. Seal, who had always been vigilant of Shion's latent power, vanished alongside Rimuru, removing the restraints that had kept Shion in check.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, Kirisoto Sama, JV, Thomas, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Akshay Devate, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Joshua Wolf. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.